So let me ask you something. Are you a planner? The kind of person with a 5-year plan all mapped out? Or are you more of a live for the moment type, someone who embraces spontaneity? It's this classic tension, right? But what if I told you this wasn't just some personality quirk? What if it's actually tied to your deepest, most fundamental values? I mean, this question really gets to the heart of everything. Is life something you just experience as it comes at you, or is it more like a project, something you design and then build? People have been debating this forever, but today, we're going to look at it through a really fascinating new lens. And that's because we've got some new data. A study looked at over 1,800 people from 85 different countries, and it found this powerful, kind of hidden connection between how we see the world and whether we lean towards planning or just being present. And believe it or not, it all comes down to one very specific number. And here it is, positive 0.1788. Now, I know what you're thinking. It just looks like a random number from a spreadsheet. But what this number represents is actually incredible. It's a real, statistically significant correlation, and it basically unlocks an entire way of seeing the world. So, what's the secret? Well, this number connects two really powerful ideas. On one side, you've got people who absolutely, strongly disagree with the idea of living life one day at a time. And on the other side, you have a value system that is all about strategy, goals, and getting results. So let's break down what that actually looks like. Okay, so first up, let's unpack that number and really explore this surprising connection is showing us about how we approach our lives. To really get what's going on here, we have to talk about a model of human values called spiral dynamics. Now, it describes these different worldviews, or vMEMEs, that shape how we think. And this data points us straight to one in particular, what's known as the orange mindset. And for orange, strategy is absolutely everything. So what is this orange mindset? Well, think of it as a worldview that's laser-focused on achievement, on logic, on success. It's the part of us that looks at the world and just sees a field of opportunities, a game where the best strategy wins. It's all about setting huge goals and then, step by step, making them happen. And you can see the core attributes right here. It's incredibly achievement-driven, super strategic. People who are strongly aligned with this are all about results. They're constantly looking to the future, and they place this huge value on being efficient and, of course, on detailed planning to get exactly where they want to go. And this quote just, wow, it absolutely nails the perspective. From this point of view, a life without a plan isn't freedom, it's just aimless. Living in the moment isn't some enlightened state of being, it's actually just, well, it's mismanagement. It's failing to properly use your resources, your time, your energy, your potential to build the future you want. You see, for someone operating from this mindset, happiness isn't something that just happens to you. Nope, it's an outcome. It is the end result of a beautifully designed plan, a clear vision, concrete milestones, and just relentless execution. Well-being is something you build. And get this isn't just an isolated finding. The data shows this really consistent pattern. Of course, there's a strong link to enjoying making plans, but look at the other correlations. There's also a strong disagreement with the idea that relationships are difficult or that they feel like a misfit. What does that tell you? It points to a deep, deep belief in your own agency. From this perspective, you don't just accept the world, you engineer it, right down to your social life. And really, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? From the orange perspective, you don't sit around waiting for purpose to strike you like lightning. You get out a blueprint and you design it yourself, brick by brick, goal by goal. But living this way, this future-focused life, it has real consequences. It creates this internal world with its own unique struggles and, of course, its own unique rewards. So let's take a look at the pain and the gain of engineering your own success. What's so interesting here is the internal conflict this reveals. For a planner, the pain isn't the planning itself. It's when other people mistake their strategy for anxiety. It's when their careful planning gets called control freak behavior. When everyone else is celebrating going with the flow, they just feel directionless. But the gain is huge. When their approach is understood, building a future is seen for what it is, an act of self-respect. Purpose is no longer some mystical thing. It's methodical, it's achievable. Their sense of agency is validated as the very engine of their well-being. So, we've seen how powerful this planner's mindset can be. But that leads us to a really critical question, a kind of paradox. is it actually possible to plan too much? I mean, the orange mindset is undeniably effective for hitting targets and achieving goals, no question. But is it the whole picture? Is it everything you need for a well-lived life? Well, a lot of psychological research would suggest there might be a hidden cost to focusing only on the future. And yeah, the research points to some very real downsides. An excessive focus on the future is linked with higher anxiety and stress. There's the huge risk of burnout, right? You're always chasing the next thing, so you never actually enjoy the thing you just achieved. You can miss out on the simple richness of the present, and those rigid plans, they can completely fall apart when life throws you a curveball. It can even strain your relationships if every conversation feels like it has an objective. And when you put these two paths side by side, the contrast is, well, it's pretty stark. An excessive future focus often correlates with stress, but present awareness, what we often call mindfulness, is a super strong predictor of life satisfaction. And here's the key difference. Hitting a goal gives you a temporary burst of happiness, but engaging with the present moment can offer a much more sustained sense of well-being. It builds the resilience and adaptability that a rigid plan just can't. Okay, so where does all this leave us? Do we have to pick a side? Are you either a planner or a presencer? Absolutely not. The real key here is to create your own personal blueprint, one that integrates the best of both worlds. And this, right here, is the ultimate takeaway. It is a false dichotomy. It's a false choice. The most effective, the most fulfilled people, they don't pick a side. They understand that peak performance and genuine well-being requires both. You need the strategic planning and the present awareness. So, how do you actually do that? Well, here's a pretty simple integrated approach. First, plan your domains. Use that powerful orange mindset where it shines, for your career, for big projects, for your finances. Second, live in your moments. Be intentional about cultivating presence in your relationships, in your creative time, for your mental health. And third, and this is the most important, build flexibility. That's the real wisdom here, knowing when to be the architect and when to just be in the building. And all of this brings us to one final thought. The data shows this powerful human drive to engineer our own destiny. And yet, all this research reminds us of the profound, simple value of the here and now. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. In your own life, is your purpose something you are actively planning, or is it something you're allowing yourself to feel moment by moment? Perhaps the truest answer is both.